2 Samuel chapter 12. Then the Lord sent Nathan unto David, who came to him and said unto him, There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many sheep and oxen, but the poor had none at all, save one little sheep, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up with him, and with his children also. And he did eat of his own morsels, and drank of his own cup, and slept in his bosom, and was unto him as his daughter. And there came a stranger unto the rich man, who refused to take of his own sheep and of his own oxen to dress for the stranger that was come unto him, but took of the poor man's sheep and dressed it, and the man was come to him. And David was exceedingly wroth with the man, and said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, the man that has done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and he had no pity thereof. Then Nathan said to David, Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and gave thee thy Lord's house and thy Lord's wives unto thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah, and would moreover, if that had been too little, have given thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. And therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, and before the sun. Then David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord hath also put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit because of this deed thou hast caused the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child that is born unto thee shall surely die. So Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was sick. David therefore besought God for the child, and fasted, and went in and lay all night upon the earth. Then the elders of the house arose to come unto him, and caused him to rise up from the ground, but he would not, neither did he eat meat with them. So on the seventh day the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How then shall we say to him, The child is dead, to vex him more? But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. Then David arose from the earth, and washed, and anointed himself, and changed his apparel, and came into the house of the Lord, and worshipped. And afterward came he to his own house, and bade that they should set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is it that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, thou didst rise up and eat meat. And he said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who can tell whether God will have mercy on me, and that the child may live? But now being dead, wherefore should I now fast? Can I bring him any more again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon. Also the Lord loved him. For the Lord had sent by Nathan the prophet, therefore he called his name Jedediah, because the Lord loved him. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and took the city of the kingdom. Therefore Joab sent messengers to David, saying, I have fought against Rabbah, and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together, and besiege the city, that thou mayest take it, lest the victory be attributed to me. So David gathered all the people together, and went against Rabbah, and besieged it, and took it. And he took their king's crown from his head, which weighed a talent of gold, and precious stones. And it was set on David's head. And he brought away the spoil of that city in exceedingly great abundance. And he carried away the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under iron harrows, and under axes of iron, and cast them into the tile kiln. Even thus did he with all the cities of the children of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. 2 Samuel chapter 13. Now after this, so it was that Absalom the son of David, having a fair sister whose name was Tamar, Amnon the son of David loved her. And Amnon was so sore vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And it seemed hard to Amnon to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend called Jonadab, son of Shimei, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. He said unto him, Why art thou, the king's son, so lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? Then Amnon answered him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said to him, Lie down on thy bed, and make thyself sick, and when thy father shall come to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come, and give me meat, and let her dress me in my sight, that I may see it and eat it of her hand. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king came to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar, my sister, come, and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may receive meat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress in meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he lay down, and she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan, and poured them out before him, but he would not eat. Then Amnon said, Cause ye every man to go out from me. So every man went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, Bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thy hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon, to her brother. And when she had set them before him to eat, he took her, and said unto her, Come, lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Commit not this folly. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak to the king, for he will not deny me unto thee. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her, and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto her, Get up, get thee hence. And she answered him, There is no cause. This evil to put me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hear her, but called his servant that served him, and said, Put this woman now out from me, and lock the door after her. And she had a garment of divers colors upon her, for with such garments were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled. Then the servant brought her out, and locked the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head, and rent the garment of divers colors which she had on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went her way crying. And Absalom her brother said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? Now yet be still, my sister, he is my brother. Let not this thing grieve thine heart. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. And Absalom said unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad, for Absalom hated Amnon, because he had forced his sister Tamar. And after the time of 2 years, Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom called all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, Behold now, thy servant hath sheep shearers. I pray thee that the king with his servants would go with thy servant. The king answered Absalom, Nay, my son, I pray thee, let us not all go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. Yet Absalom lay sore upon him, howbeit he would not go, but thanked him. Then said Absalom, But, I pray thee, shall not my brother Amnon go with us? And the king answered him, Why should he go with thee? But Absalom was insistent upon him, and he sent Amnon with him, and all the king's children. Now had Absalom commanded his servants, saying, Mark now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say unto you, Smite Amnon, kill him, fear not, for have I not commanded you? Be bold therefore, and play the men. And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded, and all the king's sons arose, and every man got him up upon his mule and fled. While they were in the way, tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose, and tore his garments, and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my lord suppose they have all been slain, all the young men of the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead, because Absalom had reported so, since he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore let not my lord the king take the thing so grievously, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. Then Absalom fled, and the young men kept the watch, lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come, as the servant said, so it is. And as soon as he had left speaking, behold, the king's sons came, and lifted up their voices, and wept, and the king also and all his servants wept exceedingly sore. But Absalom fled away, and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled, and went to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And King David desired to go forth unto Absalom, because he was pacified concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. 2 Samuel chapter 14. Then Joab the son of Zeruiah perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa, and brought thence a subtle woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to mourn, and now put on mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had long time mourned for the dead, and come to the king, and speak on this manner to him. For Joab taught her what she should say. Then the woman of Tekoa spake unto the king, and fell down on her face to the ground, and did obeisance, and said, Help, O king. Then the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, I am indeed a widow, and my husband is dead, and thine handmaid had 2 sons, and the 2 strove together in the field, and there was none to part them. So the one smote the other, and slew him. And behold, the whole family is risen against thine handmaid. And they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him for the soul of his brother whom he slew, that we may destroy the heir also, so they shall quench my sparkle which is left, and shall not leave to mine husband neither name nor posterity upon the earth. And the king said unto the woman, Go to thine house, and I will give a charge for thee. Then the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My lord, O king, this trespass be upon me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne, for guiltlessness. And the king said, Bring him to me that speaketh against thee, and he shall touch thee no more. Then said she, I pray thee, let the king remember the Lord thy God, that thou wouldest not suffer many revengers of blood to destroy, lest they slay my son. And he answered, As the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall to the earth. Then the woman said, I pray thee, let thine handmaid speak a word to my lord the king. And he said, Say on. Then the woman said, Wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of God? Or why doth the king, as one which is faulty, speak such a thing, that he will not bring again his banished? For we must needs die, and we are as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither doth God spare any person, yet doth he appoint means not to cast out from him that is expelled. Now therefore, that I am come to speak of this thing unto my lord the king, the cause that is the people have made me afraid. Therefore thine handmaid said, Now will I speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid. For the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that will destroy me, and also my son from the inheritance of God. Therefore thine handmaid said, The word of the Lord, the king shall now be comfortable, for my lord the king is even as an angel of God, in hearing of good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God be with thee. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, Hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, Let my lord the king now speak. And the king said, Is not the hand of Joab with thee in all of this? Then the woman answered and said, As thy soul liveth, my lord the king, I will not turn to the right hand nor to the left, from aught that my lord the king hath spoken. For even thy servant Joab bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. For to the intent that I should change the form of speech, thy servant Joab hath done this thing. But my Lord is wise according to the wisdom of an angel of God, to understand all things that are in the earth. And the king said unto Joab, Behold now, I have done this thing. Go then and bring the young man Absalom again. Joab fell to the ground on his face, and bowed himself and thanked the king. Then Joab said, This day thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord the king, and that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. And Joab arose and went to Geshur, and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, Let him turn to his own house, and not see my face. So Absalom turned to his own house, and saw not the king's face. Now in all Israel there was none to be so much praised for beauty as Absalom. From the sole of his foot even to the top of his head there was no blemish in him. And when he pulled his head, for every year's end he pulled it, because it was too heavy for him. Therefore he pulled it. The weight of his hair of his head was 200 shekels by the king's weight. And Absalom had 3 sons and 1 daughter, named Tamar, which was a fair woman to look upon. So Absalom dwelt the space of 2 years in Jerusalem, and saw not the king's face. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab and sent him to the king. But he would not come to him, and when he sent again, he would not come. Therefore he said unto his servants, Behold, Joab hath a field by my place, and hath barley therein. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house, and said unto him, Wherefore hath thy servants burnt my field with fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent for thee, saying, Come thou hither, and I will send thee to the king, for to say, Wherefore am I come from Geshur? It is better for me to have been there still. Now therefore let me see the king's face, and if there be any trespass in me, let him kill me. Then Joab came to the king, and told him, and he called for Absalom, who came to the king, and bowed himself to the ground on his face before the king, and the king kissed Absalom.